Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Picture this, you're over 70, maybe well into your 70s, and somehow you're still running at full throttle. The calendar's jammed, appointments scribbled in every corner, the to-do list is a novel that keeps growing chapters, and you're juggling more balls than you ever did in your 50s. You're helping the kids with their latest crisis, tending a garden that's starting to feel like a second job, volunteering at every event that needs a warm body, maybe even picking up side gigs because why not? Or I've got the time. You've got that fire in you, that drive that's powered you through decades of chaos and triumphs and slowing down. That's for other people. Quitters, loafers, not you. But then you catch yourself, mid-task, mid-sentence, feeling like the gas tank's not just low, it's scraping the bottom. Maybe it's a yawn that lingers like an unwelcome guest, a sharp word you toss at someone you adore, or a moment where you just stare blankly at the wall, wondering why you're so darn tired all the time. Sound familiar? If you're nodding along, you're not alone. Tons of folks over 70 keep pushing like they're still clocking in for the 9 to 5, like it's a badge of honor. But here's the twist. What if that hustle's quietly wearing you down, chipping away at you in ways you haven't clocked yet? What if I told you there are 5 sneaky signs screaming, hey, it's time to chill, and catching them could flip your days from drained and frazzled to downright delightful and calm? No lectures, no finger-wagging guilt trips, just straight-up talk about when to ease off the gas pedal. Stick with me, because we're about to unpack why overworking yourself past 70 isn't the gold star you think it is, and how to spot those signals before you crash and burn. If you're ready to swap burnout for a breather and find some balance, let's dive in. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's roll. Let's set the scene, because this overworked vibe, it's more common than you'd think, and it's got deep, tangled roots that go back years. You've spent a lifetime being the doer, the one who fixes the leaky faucet before breakfast, chairs the neighborhood watch like it's a military operation, or says yes to every favor when everyone else shrugs and says pass. Maybe you were the parent who never missed a school play, the worker who stayed late to get it right, the friend who always had a spare hour to listen. Retirement rolled in, and instead of kicking back with a cold one and a good book, you filled the void with more. Grandkid carpools that eat your mornings, church bake sales that have you up at dawn, that part-time consulting gig you swore would be just a few hours, but somehow ballooned into a mini-career. Society claps for it. Wow, you're so active. You don't look a day over 60. And you wear it like a medal. Proof you've still got it. But here's the rub. Your body and brain aren't 40 anymore. They're not even 60. And that relentless pace? It's taxing you in ways you might not notice until it's too loud to ignore. Studies from the Journal of Aging and Health say folks over 70 who overcommit, whether it's physical labor or mental marathons, report 20 to 30% higher fatigue and stress than those who pace themselves smartly. It's not about quitting cold turkey or turning into a couch potato. It's about knowing when busy tips over into busted. My pal George, 73, was the poster child for this. He'd retired from carpentry, but kept building decks for friends, coaching Little League, fixing every squeaky hinge in town. I'm fine, he'd grunt, brushing off the bags under his eyes, until he wasn't, and it showed. Let's break down these 5 signs it's time to chill, so you don't hit that wall like he did, scraping by on fumes and stubbornness. Sign 1's a quiet creeper, the kind that sneaks up slow. You're tired, all the time, bone-deep tired, not just, I could use a quick nap, tired. You wake up, and instead of hopping out of bed with a little gusto, you're dragging like your legs are made of cement and your head's stuffed with cotton. Tasks you used to knock out without blinking, mowing the lawn, baking a double batch for the potluck, chasing the grandkids around, now feel like you're scaling Everest in flip-flops. It's not laziness or a lack of grit, it's your body waving a white flag, begging for a timeout. After 70, your energy reserves aren't what they were. Metabolism slows to a crawl, recovery stretches from hours to days. Pushing through like you're still 50 just drains the tank faster, leaving you running on empty. George felt this hard. He'd saw wood all morning for a neighbor's porch, then crash on the couch, too wiped to heat up the soup his wife left out. Thought it was just age creeping in, he said, shrugging it off. Nope, it was overload, pure and simple. Studies show chronic fatigue in seniors spikes when activity outpaces rest, upping risks for everything from shaky balance to fuzzier thinking, stuff you don't want creeping into your days. Tomorrow, check in. After that errand or project, are you spent? Like can't move spent? If yes, that's your sign. Chill, swap one yes for a not today. Sit with a coffee instead of a chore. See how it feels. Your body's not lying. Sign two's sharper, a little more in your face. You're snappy. Cranky with the cashier who's moving too slow, short with your spouse over nothing, growling at the dog for daring to wag its tail near you. That patience you've always prided yourself on, the I can handle anything calm? It's fraying at the edges, and little things, spilled coffee on the counter, a slow driver in the fast lane, set you off like a match to dry grass. Overwork's the culprit here. When you're stretched thin, your fuse shrinks to a stub. Research from the American Psychological Association ties overexertion in older adults to a 25% bump in irritability. Your brain's too taxed to buffer the stress, so it lashes out instead. My neighbor Ruth, 71, hit this wall. She'd juggle tutoring her grandkids, running church committees, and hosting book club, then bite my head off for asking how her day went. I'm not mad, she'd snap, eyes flashing. Except she was at everything and nothing. One day, she skipped a meeting, stayed home with a cup of tea, and bam, she was smiling again, soft as ever. Tomorrow, notice, are you barking more than bantering, sighing more than laughing? That's your cue. Chill. Cut one task from the lineup. Let your mood breathe a little. It's not you turning mean, it's you needing a break. Sign three's subtle, easy to miss if you're not looking. You're forgetting stuff. Not just, where'd I park the car? But, what was I just saying? Mid-chat, or blanking on that doctor's appointment you swore you had locked in your head. It's not dementia sneaking in or your mind packing up shop. It's overload fogging your brain like a steamed-up window. After 70, your mental bandwidth narrows. Too many plates spinning up there, and some crash to the floor. Studies from the National Institute on Aging say overworked seniors report 15 to 20% more memory slips than those who pace it. Your brain's crying uncle under the weight. George again. He'd forget tools mid-job, call his grandson Buddy because the real name wouldn't come, stare at his workbench like it was a puzzle. I'm losing it, he worried, voice tight. Nope, just overdoing it, piling too much on a mind that needs room. Dial it back, and clarity creeps back in like a fog lifting. Tomorrow, test it. Missed a name, a date, where'd I put that? It's a sign. Chill, trim one to-do from the list, give your headspace a breather. It's not decline. It's a signal to lighten the load. Sign 4's physical, and it's loud if you listen. Your body's griping. Aches that stick around like unwanted guests, a back that twinges when you bend, hands that tremble after hauling groceries or raking leaves. You brush it off. I'm old, it happens, but it's not just age. It's overuse kicking you where it hurts. Past 70, muscles and joints need more downtime. Push too hard, too long, and they don't whisper complaints. They shout them. The British Medical Journal links overexertion in seniors to a 30% jump in chronic pain flares. Those twinges turn into tantrums when you don't let up. Ruth felt this. She'd haul chairs for events, lug bags of soil for her roses, then limp for days, popping ibuprofen like candy. Just stiff, she'd say, wincing. Until she eased up. Fewer chairs, more sitting, and the limp faded. The pills stayed in the bottle. Tomorrow, listen close. Are you wincing more than working, rubbing spots that won't quit? That's your hint. Chill. Skip one heavy lift. Let your body reset instead of redline. It's not fragility. It's fairness to the frame that's carried you this far. Sign 5's the clincher, the one that hits hardest. You're not enjoying it, any of it, not even the good stuff. That garden you used to love tending, it's a chore now, a green burden. That volunteer gig you signed up for with a smile, a slog that drags your feet. The joy's drained out like water from a cracked bucket, and you're just going through the motions, checking boxes instead of savoring them. Overwork kills fun. When you're stretched to snapping, even passions turn gray and tasteless. Studies from the Journal of Gerontology say retirees who overload lose 20% more satisfaction in daily activities. Your moments turn into grinds. George hit this wall. He'd build a birdhouse, once his pride and joy, and feel nothing, just another task ticked off. Used to love this, he muttered, staring at the wood. Ruth's roses? She'd weed and water, but the bloom was gone, figuratively and almost literally. George cut back. Fewer projects, more porch time, and the spark flickered back. Ruth trimmed her hours, and her garden glowed again. Tomorrow, check your vibe. Is fun feeling forced like a duty instead of a delight? That's your signal. Chill. Drop one should from the roster. Chase what lights you up instead. It's not giving up. It's getting back to what matters. Let's stretch this out, because being over 70 and overworked isn't a trophy, it's a trap. And these signs are your escape hatch, your roadmap back to sanity. You're a doer, decades of proving it, from raising kids to running crews to keeping the world spinning around you. Retirement didn't kill that fire, it just shifted the stage. Now you're the hero who can't say no, the rock everyone leans on. George, he'd nod at every favor, fix a fence, coach a game, build a shelf, till he was a shell of himself, running on grit and fumes. Keeps me young, he'd brag, wiping sweat, ignoring the sag in his shoulders. Except it didn't. It aged him faster, sapped his juice, left him hollow. Ruth, too, her yes habit packed her days tight, left her snippy, sore, and staring at her roses like they'd betrayed her. The blues of overwork aren't loud like a siren blaring. They're a slow, grinding hum. Tiredness you excuse as normal, grumpiness you shrug off as a bad day, aches you medicate with a pill and a prayer. But they stack up, layer by layer, and they steal energy, peace, that spring in your step you used to take for granted. That constant tired? It's not normal aging. It's your body begging for a breather, a pause button you keep ignoring. Past 70, you've got less in the tank, cells repair slower, stamina's not the endless well it once was. George pushed through sawdust clouds, hammer swinging, then collapse, dinner cold on the table, TV flickering unwatched. Just a long day. He'd say, eyes half closed. No, it was too many long days, no pause, no mercy. Research says the rest-to-activity balance shifts with age. Overdo it, and fatigue doubles, dragging your mood, your focus, even your balance with it. Tomorrow, feel it out. Post-task, are you wiped or wired? Wiped's your warning. Chill, swap a gotta for a maybe, sit with a tea instead of tackling another chore. It's not quitting, it's recharging, giving your body the break it's earned. The snappiness? It's your brain's SOS. Too much input, not enough calm, like a radio stuck between stations. Ruth's sharp tongue shocked me. She'd been the patient one, soothing kids through tantrums, smoothing feuds with a smile. Overwork flipped that switch. Every "can you" turned her into a porcupine, prickly and ready to jab. I'm fine, she'd insist, glaring like I'd stolen her last cookie. She wasn't. Her circuits were fried, overloaded with yes after yes. Studies show stress hormones spike when you're stretched thin, shredding patience into confetti. 25% more edge, less ease. Tomorrow, catch it. Are you sighing at spills, snapping at slowness, growling at nothing? That's your red flag. Chill. Skip one call, one favor. Let silence settle your nerves like a cool cloth. It's not you turning mean. It's you needing a reset, a moment to unclench. Memory slips. They're overload's fingerprints. Your brain's juggling too much, dropping balls left and right. George stopped mid-sentence. Where's my hammer? Mid-build, flustered, patting his pockets. Getting old, he'd groan, shaking his head. No, just too busy. Too many threads pulling at once. Past 70, multitasking's a myth. Pile on the tasks and stuff falls through the cracks, names and dates slipping like sand. Research ties this to overcommitment. 20% more "where was I" moments when you're maxed out. Tomorrow, watch. Are you blanking mid-thought? Pot fumbling mid-plan. Signs up, chill, prune one plan, one meeting, let your mind unclog, breathe. It's not decline sneaking in. It's a crowded desk needing a sweep, a little air to think straight. Body aches? They're not just 70. They're overuse shouting, banging pots and pans to get your attention. Ruth's chair-hauling heroics left her hobbling. Old bones, she'd mutter, popping ibuprofen like it was her job. No, overtaxed bones, muscles screaming for a break. After 70, recovery lags. Muscles need rest, not relentless reps. Joints need ease, not endless strain. Studies say overexertion ups pain by 30%, turning twinges into full-on tantrums that linger. Tomorrow, feel it. Are you grimacing mid-lift, rubbing spots that throb? That's your cue. Chill, pass one load to someone else, stretch instead of strain. It's not fragility. It's fairness to the frame that's hauled you through decades. Give it some grace. Joy's gone? That's the loudest alarm, the one that echoes. Overwork's robbed your shine, dulled your spark. George's birdhouses, once his pride, his happy place, became burdens, just wood and nails and another damn box checked. Lost the fun, he sighed, staring at the sawdust. Ruth's garden? she'd weed and water, but the bloom was gone, figuratively and almost literally, petals drooping like her spirit. Research says overload dims pleasure. 20% less ah in your day, 20% more in its place. Tomorrow, check your vibe. Are you dreading what you loved, trudging through what used to lift you? Time to chill. Drop one should from the roster, pick one want instead. Read a page, sip a coffee slow. It's not giving up. It's getting back to what lights you up, what makes you you. This is your life, not a marathon medal. Overworking's not the win you think, not the proof of I've still got it. George cut back. Fewer decks, more coffee chats, and grinned again. Tools down, peace up. Ruth trimmed, less tutoring, more tea, and softened, her roses perking up with her. These signs, tired, snappy, forgetful, achy, joyless, they're not flaws to muscle through, they're flares, SOS signals in the dark. Spot 'em, act, and you're not just surviving, you're thriving, living, not just existing. Tomorrow, pick one. Are you dragging like a sack, snipping like scissors, blank like a slate, sore like a bruise, flat like a tire? Chill, swap a chore for a pause, a rush for a rest, a yes for a later. My Aunt May 74 saw it, dropped half her yeses, picked up painting, colors splashing where stress used to sit. Thought busy was best, she says, brush in hand, smiling soft. It's not. Balance is, ease is, you are. So, what's your first step? Tomorrow, spot one sign, tiredness creeping, a snap slipping, a slip fading, an ache nagging, a blah settling, and ease up. Drop a comment. Did it hit home? How'd it shift your day? I'm all ears waiting to hear. If this vibes, smash that like, subscribe, and yell I'm in. Below. Let's keep this going. Your chill's worth it. See you next time.